Hey guys, it's Sonic Rush. Today I'm going to teach you how to win games on Pilsen. So, a quick overview of this map. Heavies will go to the 1, 2, and 3 line. Mediums will play the 9-0, and bad players will typically play the middle. So that's my experience. What I found is that as a medium tank, you're always going to be wanting to play the 9-0. You can't exactly push the 9-0, but winning it is extremely important because it gives you very good... it gives you what's called map control. Basically, if you win the 9-0, you're able to control and prevent people from really doing anything all the way down to the 4 and 5 lines. So that's my experience. What you're going to notice is, as a bat shot, I'm doing an early scouting run, but I am going to the 9-0. This is a tank-specific play. In a bat shot, it's safe to scout. I wouldn't recommend driving in front of people's guns like this in pretty much any other tank in the game. But you're going to see what I did is I spotted the SCA-2, the 57 Heavy, and the Tiger 2. And I'm just going to take advantage of the 57 and the Tiger 2's mistake and just put shots into them. So a lot of people would be commenting that I probably will get clicked right now by artillery. That's right, but the thing is they've got a GW E100. That thing's relatively slow. And so he'll be slow to set up. Generally, you've got about 50 seconds until the GW starts shooting. And you know, that's just a rule of thumb here. So right now I'm in a risky position, but I've got one shot left. I want to put it into the Tiger, and then I'll just start reloading. All right. So now we're going to talk about flank-specific playing. As a bat shot, I've got my early clip-off. You could be doing the exact same in any other tank in the game. Typically, what's going to happen on this map is people are going to challenge you in this house here. And the reason for that is this house is pivotal. What it does is it's the upper ground. So generally, if you can prevent the enemy team from controlling this house, you know, it's a stalemate until then, and once you've won this house, you control the engagement. And a perfect example of that is with this E50M. He's behind a building back there. He can't do anything. If he tries to run, because we control this house, he dies. If he tries to poke onto us, we've got 4 people ready to shoot him. And that's sort of like how this map works. Typically, and this is where people have trouble on this map, what will happen is if you try to push the 9-0, you die. And so a lot of people, and this is where they get caught up, is they'll be like, oh, hey, we've won the 9-0, now I can push. What will generally be the case is you'll generally have like, the people here will have run away and they'll be taking cover behind this building here. And they'll have full HP TDs, one here and one here. And so as you push, you can see I'm putting myself in a crosshair in the average game. In the average game, if they had someone here, you know, doing this wouldn't work. And so this is where people get caught up, right where normally TDs would be. There's a scout at T50, and you're effectively giving them the high ground. You're giving them the initiative by pushing this. So in most scenarios, unless it's extremely safe, you cannot push this side of the map, and it's way better just to turn around and go find something else to do, because pushing into a crossfire is never a good thing. Right here, we're able to push the E50M. Obviously, this is a special situation. The E50M actually focuses me to... Look at this guy. Watch this. His last... Anyways, so there's that. I'm using this house for cover. One thing I want to mention is as you're pushing through this line, obviously you want to use the cover available to you. Immediately you want to get behind this house. That'll sort of prevent this guy right here from shooting you. So there is that. What you're also going to find, like, pushing this map involves pushing into crossfires consistently. So I'm sort of using that rule of not pushing extremely hard on this map, and I'm going back to base. You're actually going to notice the majority of the fight right now is happening in the city, and if we were to try to push through the A-B line, like if we wanted to push into their base, there's a 57 Heavy and a bat shot. Now in my mind, if that bat shot's smart, he'll be up at A4, the 57 Heavy will be at C5, and you'd be pushing into a crossfire. So realistically, pushing into their base doesn't work, and it doesn't really matter how you try to do it. Generally, it's a bit safer from the city, though. Alright, so you're going to see I'm pushing into the city. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because we're going to lose the city. It's very easy to predict a loss when you've got 2 1-shots and, well, 3 1-shots, actually. So we've got 3 1-shots. They've got a ton of hit points. We're not going to realistically win the city, and it looks like the game isn't close, but it actually is. You're going to notice once these 1-shots die, suddenly the game is a tie. So that rhymes. What I'm doing is I just want to try to punish them because I know they're going to win the city. I know this is going to be a close game. I want to get my clip off, and then I want to start running because we're going to lose the city, and I don't want to be one of the players who dies here, but I do want to punish them for taking the city. So this is really important. Like, I can't overstate how important this is. When your teammates are dying, you want to make them pay for it, because otherwise they're getting free kills. And here, even though I just had, I clipped out into them, I did make them punish. Like, I punished them for it. Effectively, I did about 2k damage to them. And even though they did more to my team, it's a bit less of a bad trade for our team. Right now, we've actually managed to push through the AB line. I want to stress how long it took. You'll notice that they were able to totally clear out the city before we were able to kill like 3 tanks on the northern side of the map. So what I'm doing is I'm running away. They know we have the cap circle, and so I'm expecting them to rush into our base and try to put 3 on cap. So I'm positioning myself for that. This is the typical type of medium play. You're going to notice I really like this map, and the reason for that is there's no set in stone overpowered position. It's all about flexing and using your brain and coming up with solutions to problems, because it's not like El Haloof or something where you can only go to one side. So anyways, I'll talk about that more in the map overview after this, but what's happening here is they've actually gone back to base. Because I have 674 hit points and all that's left is an E75, I feel safe pushing in. Like, if I take a hit from the E75, who cares? I'll just clip him out. And that's how I'm feeling. Right now, I actually expected the 75 to be over here, but he wasn't, so I'm actually able to get behind them and take advantage of the situation. Now, I want to stress this because this is really important. You'll notice I ran away, and then when the opportunity presented itself, I did damage. You can't force opportunities in medium tanks, especially when you're a one-shot. So I waited for something to happen, and then I took advantage of it. I didn't go and, like, start taking hits or trying to outbrawl a Jagdpanzer and an E75 with my bat shot. I waited for something to happen and took advantage of that. Right now, the replay's over. I mean, they sort of lost when they didn't even try to cap out, to be honest. That's was the biggest turning, like, that wasn't the turning point, but that was the nail in the coffin. And you can see I was able to push up, get 7,875 damage, and that's pretty much it. So let's go look at the strat sketch, and then we'll look at the end plates. Hopefully this was extremely helpful, because I know a lot of people have trouble with this map. Alrighty, so this is going to be an overview, and I'm going to go over some tips and stuff for cap resetting and whatnot. So when you're from the south, what I did in my bat chat is I went over to this location. Now, I took the shortcut because I'm a bat chat and I went on a scouting run. Typically, you're just going to want to take the safer route, get into this position, and sort of fight for this house here, because this house is extremely important. Once you've cleared this house out, you're going to have to use your judgment and decide whether you can push through or not. What you're going to find is TDs will be back here. And if they're there, it's extremely impractical to just push into DDs. You need to try to kill them or suppress them somehow if you want to push. Now, if you decide that you're going to push the 9-0, the way to do that is to just cut. Generally, what I'll do is I'll go through this area and then I'll get straight to this house. Even though this house sort of gives them the control, like, these guys control the engagement and you cannot run away from this house. If you have Overwatch, generally your teammates will support you. That's my experience. Now, what in this game, if you cannot suppress these TDs, don't even bother fighting. Like, TDs are designed to just wait for people to poke on them. And when you do that, like, if you just keep poking this house you're trying to shoot at TDs, you're giving them the advantage. So that's my recommendation right there. What I did instead is, like, I cleared out this 9-0. We had mediums up here ready to go, and I came back and helped out the city right here. Now that's this replay. What I'm gonna go over a couple things. First of all, why you don't want to push through the north. Typically what will happen on the north, you could see it in this replay, is a T-57 heavy was right here, and the Batchat was in a position to put himself right here. Now, if you're trying to push into this, let's do this. Here we go. If you're trying to push into this position from this A line here, you're in a crossfire right away. And if you try to do it from this line right here, again, you're in a crossfire right away. What will also happen is there will be heavies right here. Typically they'll be right here, and that even makes it harder. Like, realistically, sometimes heavies will just sort of drive up to, like, this area and play the building, and again, it's hard. So pushing this area isn't practical unless you have the city. You need to win the city, because once the city is, like, this map's really important to win both flanks, because once you've won the city, these guys here have to deal with people on their ass. So that's my experience. Don't try to push into the base if they've got people ready. If it's open, by all means, go for it. But if they've got people here and people here, you're not going to win that fight, period. And that's my experience. So instead, I came back to the city. This is how I found is the best way to go about winning, is just focus on clearing out the city, because you can sort of control the engagement. You don't have to push into a crossfire, and just, use your wits to outplay the people in the city. That's my experience. Now, let's pretend they've won the city and you've won the 9-0. In the replay, I said it's extremely important to win the 9-0 if you're hoping to win. And I'll show you why. For resets, and this is actually really easy to do, you can get resets from, like, capping isn't possible on this map, and generally it's more of a way to get the enemy to turn around and go back to reset. You're going to be able to very easily get resets from this position here, and you'll also notice that there's actually a line of fire through this area, and that'll give you resets. I mean, obviously you don't have to be exactly here. You can use this gap in between these two buildings to reset, and you can sort of do the same from here. Honestly, it's easiest to reset from here, and it's safest. So if you're ever in a position where you need to reset and you've won the 9 line, this is the way to do it. There's not really any other way to easily reset the base. So this is why the 9 line's important. And I mean, that's pretty much it. I don't really know. I understand why people have trouble, because they try to push the 9 line and then suddenly they get fucked by camping TDs, because, they're camping TDs and you're pushing into a crossfire. As long as you don't push into the crossfire and just sort of use your medium tank's mobility, right? Like, you're playing a mobile tank, you don't have to commit to one side of the map. You should be good. So that's my advice for this map. Let's go take a look at the end plates and then I'll call it. Alrighty, so as you can see, I ended up spotting 5 tanks. This was majority from my early scouting run. 78, 75 damage, mastery badge, first class, etc, etc, high caliber, and tank, sniper, and confederate. Okay. In the end, I did 78, 75 damage. This guy got a top gun. Something tells me he stole. I'm just joking around. He got a lot of kills there, so congrats to him. Made 35k credits. I mean, this isn't super interesting in my opinion, but here you go for those who are interested. Link will be to the strat sets in a strat sketch and the replay download in the description. And yeah, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And that's pretty much it. Hope this was helpful. Bye.